Hey everybody, Esther Storyteller here, just giving you an introduction. I don't normally podcast, this is brand new to me. I did this great podcast with Finn where we spoke about animation, the industry, and of course the new AI VeggieTales. Like, comment, subscribe, enjoy our little laughing session about it, but we also talk about some deep stuff in there too. If you like it, please let me know in the comments below and say, hey, I'd love to hear more about this type of thing. And I'll also release just kind of like the video of us just chatting over the video. But for now, just enjoy as we speak. If you want to follow along with the videos, you can find some of those videos around on the internet. All the best, and we'll check in later. SCA Storyteller signing in.
First, I would like to watch the video with you again, if you don't mind.
Oh,
You're
gonna put me through that again.
Yeah, because like
Oh,
ultimately, I feel like it's just not fresh enough in our minds. I feel
Oh
like we've
boy.
completely forgotten how how horrible this was.
I
I
don't think I
literally,
could forget. I'd like to. If I could, I would.
let's start with the Esther one because I think just like generally this would have had to have come out first, right? Like
It
they
did,
must have
yeah.
done this and then been like, we feel this is good enough. Move forward. So let me
Yeah,
share my screen.
imagine making that and looking at it and go, well, making that with big finger quotes. So I didn't make anything, but
Mm.
imagine generating that and looking at it and going, "Yep, there we go. We're good. I like that. We can definitely use that.
Yeah, that's what kind of baffled me. I mean, we can pause whenever, but let's enjoy it. Fully AI
Enjoy."
powered pipeline. Most of the lip
What am I
movements.
supposed to do again?
A
Uh,
song! You're supposed to sing a song! Didn't you prepare
that
it?
nose, man.
Oh
I
yeah, the
guess I
little
wasn't
wobbly
expecting to
nose.
get this far.
Well, please sing something! You're making me look bad!
Just uncomfortable to look at.
Let's see.
That's his big lips.
Remember that song?
I don't like the placement. If you go back,
Okay, let me
I
hit pause.
don't like the placement, or you don't have to go back actually. There it is right there, of the two buttons on Esther's shirt. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of this feels like a Barbie thing. Like everyone feels like the like Barbie CGI films.
Hmm.
Like it feels like that where like they made her too human. No VeggieTales character has ever had that nose. But yes, the
Yeah.
placement of those buttons is a bit suggestive.
I
Um,
hadn't even picked up on that before now, because the way you're showing it on here, the video is a little bit zoomed in for me. Um,
hmm,
and I just got a face full of vegetable
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 nips.
bosom. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I mean, like I know I don't care that much about this, but the Babylon thing, at first I was like, oh my goodness, AI knows how to spell, because that was one of the big problems that like it wouldn't consistently keep the lettering. But it does change every time it cuts
Remember
to
that
her.
song your grandmother used to sing?
Now, Paul, I'll be for real. I don't mind that as much. I
Same.
don't like it, but I've definitely seen uh worse than that animated, quote unquote animated Paul. But
Yeah, yeah. I think if I saw this, if I just saw this, did not know it was AI, the lip sync was maybe a little bit better. I've been like, you know what? I could see VeggieTales going this direction.
sure.
I wouldn't like it, but I wouldn't hate it as much as I know now feel about it the way it is.
Now, just to be a little nitpicky, I don't like the separation of the bottom teeth, while
Oh
the
yeah.
top teeth are one big row of tooth, like VeggieTales characters typically have.
It's also the angle of the teeth. I know this again, we're being nitpicky, where it's like if I was smiling at you, my teeth would follow the shape of my jaw. So if I'm smiling, you're gonna see into my, especially because we're looking down on him, it should curve. Like yeah, I don't know if you can see on the screen, it should curve like this towards you because
Yeah,
it's coming down. But
I'm
instead
trying to
it's curved
imagine a
like
human
this.
with that.
So what's going on is his teeth are big enough that they are overlapping his lips and curving back into his head, which is a horrifying image to imagine.
Yeah,
But
not a fan of that.
I also feel like this part of the Esther's hair is the AI doesn't know what this is. Like in the animated one, we know it's Esther's hair, but here it's just like this blurred mash, like mesh hair.
Okay, I've got something.
Well, in the animated one, we don't actually cut to Paul. They don't cut to him.
Oh yeah, but yeah, we're cutting back to a yeah, exactly. I agree.
Yeah,
The
they changed it.
battle is not
Mr.
yet.
Luntman, no. I can't take it. It makes me mad first and foremost to look at what they did to my boy. They massacred him.
Oh,
Mr.
I didn't
Luntwood
even
is
notice
like
he
the
had
sexiest
lips.
character in fiction to that.
Bro, I didn't know that Mr. Lunt had lips. I thought that was his chin.
I don't know
Dude, I
what that
thought that
is,
was
man.
his chin.
I don't know what that is. I genuinely couldn't tell what they were going for there. He has like
Yeah.
like the Phenomena creatures from the Muppet Show. He has like a yeah, or
And
Pengu.
he's
Newt,
got
newt.
he's also wearing a sweater for some reason.
Oh man.
But I feel like those eyes feel racist. I don't know. Like, I know there's always an argument about like what the heck's going on with Mr. Lunt, but I'm like, those eyes don't feel right.
Yeah. I don't know how. I don't think I could explain why or put my finger on it, but they do. They definitely
Mhm.
do.
And as for Nezzer, he is smooth. Smooth.
Yeah.
Mr. Nether
Ugh.
is famous for having like pickly, bumpy skin. And it's like,
Got one wart for a chin.
yep.
I
Oh
hate
my
how
god.
realistic that one. I don't even know what you'd call that. The shirt, like the robe looking
Oh
thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I think it's supposed to be like a gold necklace around him in the original.
Diabolical.
And yeah, and here it's like almost like yeah, like it's like a skirt.
And look at the eyebrow. It'll cut back to him. He'll show up
Oh,
again.
well, even this, like you said, in the original, we're not cutting out from Esther every so often. I know they're doing this because AI has a difficult time like staying on one image for a long time, right?
Yeah.
But like flowers, sunflowers, weird, goofy
Looked like
cloud.
the scene from Shrek. They're
Yeah,
walking through the field.
her hiding
Mr. Lunt was
behind.
like, I like parfaits. Everyone likes parfaits.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
Mm.
I need a limbless green woman like that in my life.
I'll keep an eye open. We'll put that on your what's it called on your Tinder profile.
Yeah,
Into
there we
limbless
go.
green women. It looks like she's giving the microphone a kiss. It,
It kind of does, yeah.
it's weird that the buttons stay consistent, but let's keep moving.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to feel about that. Actually, I think I am sure how to feel about that. I think I'm sure how to feel about everything I'm looking at, but kind of tough to put into
Yeah,
words.
yeah. So garbage is the word I typically go.
Yeah, I'd go to that. Yeah, that'd be good. And see, the best part, the one positive in my opinion, is you don't have to watch what words you use when you're critiquing AI. Like, I can say, whoever made this should be fired. Well, guess who made it? No one.
No one exactly.
We could be as nasty as we want because no human made that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's not like I understand that someone had to sign off on it, but I think to some degree
Well,
we
they
were
should be
never supposed
fired
to
too.
see this. Bro, you're right. Like, um, there's no life to it, which is not which obviously is the case with all AI, right? There's no life. There is, like Mr. Like we start with the
You're
scallion
supposed to
and his
sing
weird like
this
doesn't know where
song.
to blink from.
Now the
His lips
mouth
are all.
Prepare anything?
kind of, well, no, play it again.
I can go frame by frame, dude. We look at his mouth.
Yeah, I was gonna say it kind of matched up, but no, I think I'm being too generous. I don't think it did at all.
To be fair, his mouth and Pa Grape's weird lips are probably the best parts of
So
lip
your
sync.
grandmother used to say.
Pog.
Yeah. But I like that mustache moves. Boy, it's me, Pa Grape. Oh man. So
Prepare any.
and so here's the deal. I mean, let's watch the next one too. Let's watch the Christmas piece. But just watching this first, uh, all the hard work that went into designing Esther gone. Right? They're just
Hmm.
doing whatever they're just letting the computer do it. All the hard work designing the theater, I feel like this is fine. Like if it was just used for the backgrounds, I almost wouldn't have too much of a problem with it. Like that's fine. The chairs are fine, but the designs are all they all don't belong. They don't look like they all belong in the same universe, right? This
They don't look like
design
they
does not
belong in
belong.
any universe, actually.
By the grace of God, you're right. Oh my goodness. But like for example, when VeggieTales in the House came out, you could see all of the hard work that was done on designing, right?
Oh yeah.
Complaints people had, at least you could be like, oh, okay, someone knew the characters to some degree, and they designed them based on the parameters they were given. Here, it
Hmm.
doesn't feel like there were any parameters given. It was just kind of like make it fast, make it quick, make it cheap. And let's let's watch that the Christmas trailer.
And I wear funny shorts.
Yeah. So I'll bring this up later, but I don't understand how Mike Naraki is signing off on this.
I sure hope he is not. I really,
Well,
really hope.
because in the meeting, right? That image of the meeting where they're all sitting down saying, "Oh, Jonathan Rumi is going to play the villain and whatever." I could be wrong, but I could have sworn that in that picture you can see him. But let's move on to this. Wait, hey, this is the one that I wear funny shorts. The Nutcracker Swede. There we
Now
go.
I've been on a real digital circus kick lately.
Ooh,
Um,
love it.
Fantastic show. Larry kind of sounds like a messed up version of Bubble.
I can hear it. You see, Bob here I find sounds like podcast Bob, right? Like he sounds like someone doing a like, "Hey Larry, don't you see? We shouldn't be. You're missing the point, Larry." I'm like, "Oh, um, okay." And you're right. I. Why'd you have to bring up Digital Circus? Digital Circus is so beautiful.
It really is, man. It really is. That new one was amazing.
That new one, like I kept wondering why it took so long for it to come out. I watched that new episode. I was like, we have anime style. We have all these different new locations.
I know, just amazing. I love the people behind that.
Hmm. Okay, let's just start with there's a doorknob in the middle of a door. The let us in. I don't know why whenever
Because
yeah,
because they're vegetables.
because they're vegetables.
Oh,
Gosh,
oh, hold me.
I I hate that whenever someone else takes over VeggieTales, it's just vegetable puns. It's like whenever there's somebody who's like, oh yeah, it'd be great. Like if you remember when towards the end of the original VeggieTales run, you're getting vegetable puns, vegetable puns, vegetable puns. And I'm like, or jokes about them not having arms. And I'm
Oh
like,
my
okay,
gosh.
yeah,
I
that's
know.
fine. But I think there's a
I
part where it's like, give me none in the funnel, the fennel, the space one, whatever the one when they have like
Final Frontier.
the Fennel Frontier, thank you. In Fennel Frontier, like there's a point when like Junior Asparagus and someone else like get stunned and they kind of just move their bodies. And I'm like, yeah, that okay. Move on. For I think the trailer for Pirates Who Don't Do Anything was like three vegetables will find their way to grape. What
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I remember that. And then Beauty and the Beat was really heavy on it with Oklahoma and Squashington and whatnot. I thought about that the other day. I'm like, they never would have done that before. It didn't really bug me, but that wasn't the joke. And in fact check it. Don't quote me on it.
Mm,
But the style guide that Joe got out there, I'm
mm.
pretty sure one of the rules in the style guide was do not do vegetable puns on the merchandising. We don't do that. I'm almost positive if I can
I
find that, I'll
hope
share it with you.
I hope that's true because like it was consistent. Like if you look at early VeggieTales, there you could have made some simple jokes, but they were like, no, we're not. Like it's the main thing difference I see between like the nuttiest Nutcracker and VeggieTales. Where like the nuttiest Nutcracker is all jokes about the fact that they're food. VeggieTales rarely makes a joke about the fact that they're food. In fact, for all intents and purposes, they don't function like food. Bob and Larry don't say, and remember to eat your vegetables at the end of every episode.
Well,
Right?
if they do make a joke about food, the characters do it in a self-aware way. Like Larry or Bob, whenever they switch bodies in VeggieTown, and Bob goes, "You all go ahead, we'll catch up," and Larry goes, "Catch up? Was that a tomato joke?" Or cumbersome, cucumbersome.
Yeah, there's that. Or in Mo and the Big Exit, the water is filled with tomato juice.
Yeah.
Or sorry, tomato soup. Is it tomato soup or tomato juice?
Juice, I think. I'm pretty sure it was juice, but I'd have to
Okay.
rewatch it. Yeah.
And they have Bob faint. And I'm like, that's clever. Does
Yeah, I like
Bob
that.
show up in that episode anywhere else? Is that the only place that Bob shows up?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Huh.
So is it implied that Bob is an Egyptian in that story? Anyway, not important. Let's take a look at this monstrosity.
Oh boy.
Um,
Yeah, that doorknob,
go.
man.
Hey kids, we have some big news.
Can I
Yeah.
tell them, Bob? Please, please.
That, like, I never want to see that again. But
The
I know I'm
camera
going
shaking.
to. Now, to be fair, at least the mouth looks like it fits in his head. The number
Sure,
of
yeah.
yeah. Look, man, I'm grasping at straws. It is the weird his pupils blinking that messes with me.
Yeah. They
Like,
don't even blink, they go away.
oh my goodness.
Please.
Go ahead, Larry.
We're in a
Now that sounded a lot like Phil to me.
I can hear it.
And I don't like
I
that.
was-
I think they're using a model of Phil's voice, which I don't think they should be allowed to do.
That's the thing I wonder too. I know that I don't know if Phil is part of the union, but I feel like that was one of the things that the actors union dealt with, where it was like, if our voices are used, they cannot be made into like an AI setting without our permission, right?
Hmm.
So I don't know. I was gonna say this image alone, if I saw this as concept art, I'd be more interested. Like, I hate to say it, Ben, if I just never knew this was AI and I just saw this piece of concept art, I'd have been like, okay, I don't know where this is going. Larry is shorter than normal. Bob looks like he's Scrooge. I don't know what's happening, but maybe this is an idea to something.
Yeah,
I would never want to
it'd
see
be
this on,
worth looking into. Yeah.
yeah, I never want to see this on screen, but like they've not done a no, they've done a steampunk VeggieTales. I guess Blunders in Boo Booville is kind of steampunk, sort of.
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of, yeah.
But like, I don't know. It's like it's not the worst image. Let me just say, of all the images in this, I actually don't mind this too much.
Hmm.
So let's go.
brand new Christmas special called
Hot dang! Look at those cheeks on. That's a weird sentence to say. Don't clip
Clip that
Madam
part and publish
Blueberry.
it.
Me saying, damn, look at those cheeks.
The blink. The blink.
They haven't figured
called
that one
the
out.
Nutcracker Swede. I play a Swedish nutcracker with fancy shorts.
Larry?
He's not wearing any pants, right? Like, I'm not crazy. He keeps saying fancy shorts, and we clip to him not wearing pants.
Well, you know, the thing that made VeggieTales iconic, which they clearly understand here, Larry's dumb and like, you know, like funny culture stuff. Swedish, funny, French, funny, British, funny. There you go, VeggieTales, boom.
Gosh.
We're supposed to tell them about the story.
Oh. Well, there's a
Oh! Like a bird. Ah!
Poor Mr. Lunt. What has AI done to this man?
Now I like that better than the other one.
Me too. This, like, again, no credit to the lack of human intelligence on this, but this is the angriest I've ever seen Larry in all of this series. Larry is going to murder this man. But at least Lunt looks like he don't see the eyes. It's not trying to do anything crazy, except for his weird spots on his body. I don't know what's happening there.
pillow fight with
Like
the
a
mouse king.
potato.
And candy everywhere.
Hmm.
We see one shot of Laura with like full pupils and then Laura with like tiny pupils. It looks like she is on drugs. Went on a trip.
When I first watched the trailer, I was thinking back over my day. I'm like, I really hope I ate some drugged food and I'm not actually watching this right now. But you're gonna have a VeggieTale fan show up and go, I'm so happy they brought back the classic Laura design. That's all that matters.
I mean, like, you're right, because yeah, Laura changed a lot, right? She's kind of
Yeah.
like an upside down carrot now with like, oh yeah, with the glasses and everything.
Where?
That's not the important part, Larry. It's a beautiful
Larry.
Christmas story
Hmm.
about friendship and
Funny shorts.
Coming soon to Vermont.
What a
Vermont.
thing. Oh, Vermont. Oh my goodness. Dude, I listened to that like 4 times. I was like, what do you think? Coming to the to what? Vermont. It's like Vermont. Ugh.
Brr, cause cold, snow,
Yeah.
winter, brr, ha, funny. Good pun.
Oh my
We can
goodness.
all enjoy that.
So, okay, let's talk about a couple things. First things first, from a spiritual perspective, and I know maybe it should be later on because no, maybe we should wrap it up with the spiritual element of this. I've always felt that our faith is a direct connection to, well, obviously to God. We are taking our time, a personal connection to God. And I felt that when VeggieTales began with Phil Vischer, it was part of his ministry, right? Like he truly believed that he was giving of himself to God
Oh,
through
for
what he
sure.
was doing, right?
Mhm.
I feel like there is something, and my wife sent me this video on Instagram of somebody who got ChatGPT to write a prayer for her to give during a service. And honestly, it ends with the person like as she's praying, she says, "Please adjust this prayer for your needs." That was at the end of the prayer. Amen.
Amen.
And I'm just like, oh my goodness, is this what prayer has become? Such a performance that like any other performance, you can outsource it. Um, this is
Yeah,
not
what a
to
thought.
conflate, yeah, this is not to conflate VeggieTales as a prayer. But what are we telling to kids when and don't get me wrong, a smaller company, like if it's just like two guys in the back in their garage making like AI content, I'm never going to stop those people. Let them do their stuff.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. But when you're in this situation, at least write your own script, right? The problem that I have with this AI pipeline, and I'm sure you'll chime in on this, is just that it doesn't seem like it's a human writing the script. This is like anytime I put in a prompt, write a VeggieTales story about Elisha in space, right? And they'll be like, Elisha is a wacky cucumber who has who was trained by Elijah. I don't know. They'll give like almost like a Star Wars name, Elijah Solo or something like that, played by Bob the Tomato. And now he's gonna have to pick up his lightsaber and save the day. And you're like, oh, this is not really considering people as intelligent. It's just a bunch of parodies tied together,
Yeah,
not actually telling you.
nothing human or creative about it, and I definitely got that vibe from the trailer we
Mhm.
watched just now.
Yeah. It's like it's what okay.
Ed
I hate to
Larry.
say it though. This is kind of what a child remembers about VeggieTales before they take another look and go, oh, it was deeper than just colorful images on a screen entertaining me,
Hmm.
right? Phil Vischer takes a lot from Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street, and you know about Sesame Street.
Oh, I do.
Um,
A lot about it.
and both of those series are we're supposed to add the human element to teaching, right? Because so
Hmm.
much and television, because so much of television at the time was so focused on just colorful light. It's He-Man, it's G.I. Joe, it's all this stuff just flashing in your face bit by bit. Sesame Street had like explosions and silliness, but was always aware of treating their audience like adults, right? At least in
Yeah.
conversation, right? They wouldn't shy away from big issues. They were always aware of treating people as they needed to be a part of the conversation. right? Like if there was a kid that was being bullied, they never went, oh, well, here's some easy fixes. No, they would approach the bully. They would have this a real world application, I guess is the word I'm looking
Hmm. Yeah,
for.
no, for sure. They
Mhm.
excelled in that.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's like as I'm looking at AI Bob and AI Larry, um, the fact they don't look like what I grew up with is sucks. Don't get me wrong. That's a real thing we're laughing at. But the fact that they don't look like the ones that were designed back in the day, or even the ones that were designed for the 2015 show, it just kind of feels like it's like, yeah, we don't care. We just want the money we get from these families.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to get much of that with whatever we watched. I mean, I'm not feeling that. I think the majority of the people, in fact, can we talk about the comment section for a second?
Oh, absolutely.
Freaking unlisted video with like 300 angry people in the comment section. I love that. That made me very happy. They didn't even publish it. We found
Oh
it in a
yeah.
playlist, and then I think I think JY put it in VTOD, and then I put it out on YouTube for people to watch, and then from there people have been finding it. I think Joe McFadden commented on it. Um,
Oh, did I pass already?
I'm not sure. I can't see the comment section on what you're sharing. I'm only seeing your recommended,
Oh, that's weird.
kind of
Okay, I don't know why
cropped.
it's
Yeah,
doing that.
yeah. I'm not sure either. But yeah, no. The fact the video wasn't even put out, and we got all the people mad in the comment section, I think is a
Yeah.
great sign. Like they didn't even have to publish it, for fans to show up and rally for man-made VeggieTales, which is a crazy thing to have to say, but
Yeah. But the question is this, do they care what us YouTube comment aged people can post up? Because like my church, we recently bought a bunch of Kingstone comics.
mhm.
They have this fantastic series, and I'm going to give them this one piece of credit. Okay, you can throw every other bit of credit away. They have a comic series about the Christ, and it kind of walks you through each portion of Christ's life, from birth to like his time in Egypt, like with whatever little bit of information we've got in the Bible. And it gives character, but it's written like an action comic. So it's like really dynamic poses. And I'm just like, you want to know what's beautiful about this? You took the stories of Christ and you added action without there having to be a lot of action. Like Jesus will be talking, and the pose he's in will give the action that's in there. I was hoping that a company that understood that would be able to take Larry Boy and be like, yeah, there's so much power in a powerful pose. Just go from there. But it
But
doesn't
no.
look like that's, yeah. Now back to the thing about the comment. Yeah, you're right. It's like everyone from the community is in this conversation, right? VeggieTales
Mhm.
Collector, yourself, Joe Davis, C-Man Flip, 321 Blender, everybody's here having Mr. Lunch. Like,
Yeah, they all showed up.
yeah, like I think
But
you
then a lot of
commented
people,
twice.
I did actually, well, first time I commented, like, okay, I don't even know what to say. I'm disappointed. Then I went back and watched it again. I'm like, you know what? No, I think I could talk about it. I've got a thing or two I'd like to note. But I love that I think the majority of the people in there are not people I know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I might know 15, 20 people in the comment section there. Um, and there are like 300 people in the comment section. I probably know more than that. I probably know about a fourth, maybe close to a half of them. But a lot of them I don't know who they are. People
Oh,
showing up
same.
who aren't in our little tight-knit community who are mad.
And that's a
Good.
good sign. I'm with you on that. Like I was watching with my son because I'm a horrible parent who showed my child being shown veggie tales.
Now, what did he
I'm
think of
like,
that?
oh, he got bored. I think that they like he looked at the first little bit and like he was like, oh, Veggie Tales. And then he looked at it for the first couple seconds and he was done. Okay, other things to do. And if it can't even entertain children who are not extremely discerning, I wonder. Like I would love to be on a fly on the wall to watch them do like focus testing, right? As they're making it, I'd love to see them see, okay, do kids actually care about this? Or is there a certain soul? Which I know that we're not supposed to imply that VeggieTales have characters have souls, but like, is there a soul to this program? before we do this completely AI pipeline.
Well, and on top of
Um,
that, go ahead, my bad.
no, go ahead. I was going to go into a different topic because my ADHD. Go on.
No, you're fine. I was gonna say, for one, we're not there yet. AI isn't there. It can't make a good show. It can barely make a show. What we just
Hmm,
watched will not be picked up, but what streaming service is going to pick that up? What
yeah.
movie theater is going to pick that up? We're not there. They're
Hmm,
jumping the gun. Um, on top of that, more than anything, I wish we wouldn't get there. I'd love if we weren't heading in that direction with AI taking
hmm,
over. And a former Big Idea employee who I was talking to yesterday, actually, as of when we're recording this yesterday, was
yeah.
showing me like how AI can improve a final product without making it. Like they had taken like a human-made animation, ran it through AI, and AI made it look more detailed. And like,
Hmm,
okay, you know what? Like, sure. You know, I don't like
yeah.
the idea of generative AI, but if you're putting it through and going, give me some shadows, I'm not going to make a big stink about that. But when you literally put into a prompt, make me a trailer to a VeggieTale Christmas special with AI generated character voices, with clearly AI written plot and title, um, animation, right? There's no human touch there.
Hmm,
And we're not to the point where you can even make it look like there's a human touch.
yeah. Yeah. Um, in response to that big idea animator, I do want to mention I wanted to show you something else because there is a positive side to AI, right? Like it's here to stay. That's what I'm always hearing. I teach animation at Langara College, and my students are always asking about what's going on with AI. And one of the things I like to show people are what's going on with. Have you heard of the show Pocoyo?
Pocoyo. Yeah,
Listen
I
again.
think I have.
Sorry.
Pocoyo.
Yeah, so Pocoyo is this Italian animation
Oh,
series,
yeah, I know that.
right? And recently they have been using this new program that goes sketch to animation or sketch to motion, and it's an AI platform. Basically, they've built the character. The character exists in the program. Like there's a fully modeled character. And then all you got to do is just draw the sketch and the computer figures out what the pose is. It's not perfect, right? So like that's a perfect example of where it's not perfect. Here his head's supposed to be turned up. Instead, it just kind of sat him down and had him looking straight. It turned the body rather than turning the just the head, right? So it's not perfect, but it's already like
Not bad.
pretty dang good, right? And just saves all the time it would take you to pose the character out rather than eliminating the animators. It just kind of helps. And I'm cool.
Yeah.
Like VeggieTales has had years of poses, and you could theoretically upload it. Like even there's an image of what they were working on for Jonah, and I noticed they had a pose copier, and I was like, yeah, this is just like the next step beyond the pose copier, where you're still keeping life in it, you're still able to edit it, but you have like a human being involved with it. I think there's a better example of him
Hello.
drawing the characters. So he'll draw a character right there, and that's what's currently on the screen. And then once the character is drawn, boom, and he never had to touch the model,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And this should be, in my opinion, that's the direction I would. If someone said, Kendall, we're going to use AI for VeggieTales, this is what I would have done. I'd have been
Yeah.
like, we will do it. We'll do drawn to pose, and then from that point on, we put the human touch to it. Because the other problem with our Bob and Larry trailer is the fact that if anything looks bad, they can't go in and fix it.
No, they
They have
can't.
to completely regenerate everything. Um, which I'm sure they will never tell us how many times they had to regenerate again and again and again before they even got that AI. As much as it's here to stay, it doesn't mean that everything needs to be garbage. So again, and I know when Finn gets back, he'll take a look at this as well. On the Anajam, they have an example of you can type in, even if you don't want to draw, you can still do your fun add a prompt. So we're adding this prompt. He wants to do the floss. So they take what the model looks like, and you can just kind of layer the character you want to do that action.
I'm back. I'm watching you now.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, I was just saying that like, and this is like again, it's a unique program built specifically. Like, okay, have you read Creativity Incorporated? It's the Pixar version of Me, Myself, and Bob.
No, I haven't actually. I'll have to write that down.
Okay, Creativity Incorporated is from the perspective of the guy that does the tech for Pixar. So we all know John Lasseter, and there's like a couple of other people who were like the guys who started Pixar, and one of the guys who started Pixar who did like who does the tech. Basically, he was like this hardcore Mormon dude, but like he loved technology and he loved animation, and he always wanted to find a way where tech and animation could meet. And if you're familiar with most Pixar films, they always develop um, a new process for every movie, right? And it makes their animation so much better. I feel like you said, they're jumping the gun to go straight to all AI all the time, rather than going, no, 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 let's put a little bit of AI on top of things. Even Jurassic Park, when they had the technology, still used practical effects to go alongside the CGI because they knew there were times the CGI would not look good. So, yeah, everything in moderation, I guess.
And even then, like I can't get behind it. I'm not in favor of what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But if we were to the point where you could go make me a good AI animation, here is my voiceover work, here is my script, maybe even like give a storyboard, give an idea of what you want it to look like, and they could make a good looking animation. I wouldn't like that. I like to know people are doing it, but it
Mm.
wouldn't be nearly as jarring and upsetting as them just going, "Hey, AI, make us a VeggieTale Christmas trailer." No quality control, no anything. Like they call that a test. Even a test, I think, should have a level. My throat is real dry. Pardon me.
It's okay. You have a heat
Even
wave going on.
that heat wave is, yeah, crazy. Um, even a test, I think, should have a little bit of heart and soul put into it. You know, some level of heart and soul. Like Mr. Cuke screen test and promo take 38. Very primitive, incredibly primitive for CGI animation. Looking at those now, you're like, oh my gosh. Um,
Mm.
but they really cared about it. They put their, best into it, and I think they knew it didn't look perfect, but it looked about as good as they could make it look for the time. I think a test for a larger project, I'm not sure if everyone would agree with me, but I think a test
Mm.
for a larger project should look about as good as you can make it look. If you're trying to pitch an idea and go, here's what I'm going to do, like if I said I've got a character here, um,
Mm.
and I would like Disney to buy my character and I'm going to make them a minute long test, I would make that minute long test look as good as I could make it. I wouldn't make it look like trash. And then they go, why does it look like that? And I go, well, that was
Mm.
only a test. Now wait till you see the final product. You want to present something concrete and something meaningful. And they're not doing that. I'm at a loss for words looking at it because it doesn't get less meaningful. It doesn't get any more lazy than
Yeah.
typing in a prompt, make me a VeggieTale AI trailer. They're not using AI for assistance. They're not, incorporating AI. They're only using AI. I find that
Mm.
crazy. I find that I don't know any other show or franchise that is doing that currently, and I can't
And
believe it.
that, dude, that is what pisses me off the most because VeggieTales, I teach about, well, I mentioned VeggieTales in my history of animation class because I love it, but also because it's important. VeggieTales kind of is on the forefront of most new styles of animation, at least in its own realm, right? 3D animation, it was one of the first to use that as like for a series. And not only that, but they were at one point the most successful in doing a 3D animated series. Look at VeggieTales and then look at Donkey Kong, the 3D animated Donkey Kong show. VeggieTales is still leaps and bounds over Donkey Kong, right?
Yeah.
There are even elements like if we move forward, Maya which is now the industry standard. Where did it start? One of its first contracts was with VeggieTales doing King George the Ducky, 3-2-1 Penguins. In fact, Jonah VeggieTales movie is the first feature-length film done in Maya, right?
Oh
Like,
wow, I never thought about
yeah,
that.
it was followed up by Ice Age, but a lot of people moved from VeggieTales. A lot of people came to VeggieTales from Ice Age, but Ice Age had a later release date. That's kind of it. But VeggieTales was the first one released, right? Um, for Flash, right? Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends and Larry Boy basically were the trailblazers for putting Flash animation and puppet animation into the industry. Again, now is the standard for making children's 2D animated series, right?
Yeah.
VeggieTales was the canary in the coal mine for DreamWorks. Before DreamWorks did She-Ra, before DreamWorks did Kipo and the Wonder Beast or any of that stuff, even for Netflix to have original programming, VeggieTales is like what, the second? It only was beaten by one show that nobody even talks about. It was like another preschool show that came out beforehand. But
Like King
VeggieTales before
Julian, maybe.
BoJack Horseman. Huh?
Like King Julian? Was it King Julian?
No, it beat King Julian too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, VeggieTales, like, it's constantly on the forefront of a lot of different parts of technology. And I would really hate for their legacy to be like, and now we're on the forefront of AI,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm like, oh my goodness, you did, like, not that everything they've made is a hit. That's not my point. And it's also not true. My point is more to have a not just a children's television series, but a Christian children's television series to be so integral in the history of animation requires not just a love of storytelling, but a love of technology and an amount of risk taking, right? So if VeggieTales is going to go forward with this, one, I agree with you that I think that this is the wrong direction to go, and everyone's going to hate it. And without a human touch, why would I pay money to see this? Like, I don't even know. And I know that part of the reason they're doing it is because VeggieTales is very expensive, right? The whole reason they did VeggieTales in the house was because they could do one big design for the house and just have all the settings already made and have the characters interact in there, as opposed to 1 week we're in space, 1 week we're in the Old West, 1 week we're in the Old Testament. It's like it does get pricey to continually rebuild everything. But this is not the way. And I tell you this, then I was keeping my eye open for when Kingstone would be hiring animators. And I was like, I'm gonna see if I can get on board this. I would love to be a part of this new Larry Boy movie. But I don't think I want to be a part of this anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, what part could you play as an animator? What are you gonna do? They don't want people animating it. They want to type in a prompt, like I said, into a machine and go make me a VeggieTale trailer. Now I try to go at things tactfully. I try to go at things not tactfully. Who cares about tact? The
Mm,
word I guess would be moderately,
mm.
as in like they just gave us two very, very horrible teasers that I feel like we were never supposed to find. I guess they underestimated the prying eyes of the VeggieTale community. Um, I feel like we were never supposed to see them to begin with. Yet we have. They're out there. You
Mhm.
know, they didn't hide them very well. I've been there. I've put videos I didn't mean to publish into a playlist and then people find them. It does happen.
Mm.
Um, I don't know if the Larry Boy movie is going to do that, right? So I watched the Christmas trailer. I saw that before Esther. I watched the Christmas trailer and I went, okay, I really don't like that, but I know Kingstone is experimenting with AI.
Mm.
Surely they, are just messing around with AI,
Mm.
seeing what they can do. I don't think we have any reason necessarily to believe they're going to do that for the movie. Then I found the Esther one, and that disclaimer in the beginning I think is incredibly important. Um, Incredibly important. Fully AI, what was it? Fully
AI
AI
pipeline.
generated production pipeline. They're not just doing a little test to see if we can do it. They're building the pipeline. They're building their quote unquote animation software with AI. They're not just doing a test for the heck of it. That's an early test for, I guess you could call it a project that they're intending to go through with. And the fact they're using VeggieTales characters, I think, gives us reason to believe they'll be doing that for the Larry Boy movie. Now, on top of that, um, the concept art that we got of the little Jonathan Roumie Brussels sprout, I'm sure
Mm,
you've seen that. That was also AI. We all were awful suspicious of it, but we couldn't prove it. Now we have reason to believe with certainty that that was AI, right?
mm.
Um, but then again, watching these teasers they put out, that can't be on the big screen. No one will
No,
distribute that. No theater will pick that up. So we have all the reason to believe they're making a theatrical Larry Boy film that they intend to put in theaters, it being theatrical. And we're led to believe that they intend to create a fully AI generated animation pipeline. And we're led to believe this movie is coming out next year. So
mm,
that can't all be true. It can't all
no.
be true. What are we missing?
Dude, I'm ready to find out that they have like dirt on somebody who's gonna put it in like a few theaters. Because like, here's the deal. Chosen does what you call the phantom events, right? Where it's like in theaters for like a couple of days
Yeah, yeah.
and then it disappears. And it's like, I don't know if you saw, did you see King of Kings?
I did not know.
Okay. So King of Kings lives off of literal, so it's not, you saw my review, right? I'm sure you saw my review, but yeah, no, maybe perhaps
King of Kings.
the Jesus animated movie, the
Yeah,
3D Jesus
when
animated
did
movie.
you put it out?
A month or two ago.
Oh shoot, I missed it. I'll check it out after this.
Okay. But my point just being the film kind of made its bed by just kind of going like, hey, all you guys, you like Prince of Egypt? This is as good as Prince of Egypt. It's not. Then they were like, hey, everyone, doesn't it suck that Hollywood doesn't respect Jesus? You respect Jesus. Go see a Jesus movie. What? And so like I worry that and this is very common in Kingstone's marketing, where it's like, don't you hate that some comic books hate America? Here are our Heroes of America comic books. And I'm like,
Volume
oh,
1, Donald Trump.
yes, right. And so it's like, it, like seeing this and then seeing what they're doing with VeggieTales, I'm like, you could probably get people to go into theaters to watch this movie, spend, I don't know, $1 million. And that's like on the product, eh, on the whoever's typing, on whoever the typist is for this, like making the prompts, and then whoever's the editor who's going to edit it all together. Unless they have an AI editor, I'm actually not totally sure how their pipeline is working. Um, and then just release it. And there's no way you're not going to make $1 million with just scaring Christians into going to see the movie,
Yeah. Yeah, no,
right?
I know. I mean, I hate to say it, and no knock on Christianity, more
Mhm.
of a knock on uh, you know,
Marketing,
a
capitalism.
level of organized religion is
Mm.
you can make a money. You can make a lot of money. You can make a money. Listen to me. You can
You
make a
can make a
lot of
money.
money. You can make a money.
Make a
You can
money.
make a lot of money off of scaring people. I think you see it in the news too, but you also see it in certain denominations and churches where they go, hey, you know what?
Mhm.
Like my grandparents, the church used to tell them, you want to get to heaven? We need renovations. Come help us pay for renovations and mop our bathroom, and you're gonna get to heaven. You can trick people psychologically. This is the
Mm.
way to heaven. We're adding verses to the Bible. Here you go. Definitely didn't just make
Mm.
that up. Believe that. Join our little group here. We'll get you to heaven, but do what we tell you to do. And I do think, yeah, I mean, to an extent in the film industry, Christian film industry, you'll continue to tend to see that where they go, you know
Yeah.
what? If you're a Christian, you'll love this movie. You got to come watch it. Um, try. I guess that could just be a level of um I guess you'd call it mob mentality and less trying to scare them, because I didn't hear anybody going, go watch King of Kings or you're not a Christian, you're going to hell. Nothing like
Mm.
that, but more of like, I'm a Christian, I liked it. You're a Christian, you'll like it. Kind of like when there's a character in a movie like Elio with Pixar.
Mm.
Wow, that character is very autism coded. I relate to him, you'll relate to him, you'll relate to him. You know,
Yeah, no,
you
I
see
get
you
you.
see that happen. Um, but here goes my brain going down another rabbit hole. I do think we got to talk politics to an extent.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. My first
Kingstone.
video on this on VeggieTales on the Playboy movie was all about the politics. I literally said how Megamind and King and Donald Trump brought us Larry Boy.
That reminds me of that Phil Vischer video from like 2015 about Doritos and Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so there was a an interview with
Mhm.
someone from Kingstone. I'm not sure who. Um, someone higher up, like an investor, I guess. I don't really know. And
Mhm.
they were talking about making VeggieTales appeal to Christian conservative families with Christian conservative values. And VeggieTales has always tried to appeal to Christian families, but I think they're forgetting that not all Christians are conservative, and not all
Mhm.
conservatives are Christian. Not all conservatives behave like Christians, certainly. Um,
Yeah.
and as somebody who's incredibly independent and very comfortable saying that I do not tend to lean either way, I think both have a lot of serious flaws, and I'd rather pull the best out of, you know, each and form my own belief. Um,
Mhm.
but seeing VeggieTales and the people behind it use the word conservative, I don't like that. And they shouldn't
Yeah.
use the word liberal either. I think what they're doing is they're saying, yeah, if you're a conservative, you're probably a Christian. We're making this for you. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of money to be made there. There's a lot
Yeah.
of money. But then you
You
what would the
cheapen
word?
Christianity.
You cheapen Christianity for sure, yeah. But you
Mhm.
also what would the word, ostracize? Would that be the
Yeah.
word? Your
Mhm.
fans, because half of the fan base that I know are not even Christians. A lot of people who aren't Christian love VeggieTales, but they know that VeggieTales is directed to Christians and they accept that naturally. You can't really change that. Um,
Mhm.
but a lot of them aren't conservative, and VeggieTales has never claimed to be
Mhm.
conservative or liberal, just a show teaching about the Bible. And I think people are more okay with it being Christian than they're okay with it being conservative.
I agree. Especially this time, right? Like I'm so VeggieTales, like you said, it's always kind of towed the line. And I know some people get upset with Phil Vischer now because he seems to be more liberal. I don't even think Phil Vischer is that liberal. Like I've always been like, he's himself. When you're, and I think I agree with you as well, Finn, where it's like, I typically tell people I'm left of center when it comes to my politics, because now I'm going to get into trouble. Now I'm just going to be like, left of center. How could you say you're a
What?
Christian? I'm like, I am, believe me, among my friends who are leftist, they hate my position. And my friends who are on the right hate my position as well. I think I'm
Yeah,
in the right
I
place.
feel the same way. You can't make anyone happy.
Right. What I like to say is I'm a sucker for a good argument. If you can convince me with a good position without like threatening my life or threatening to kick me out of my own country, I think we can have a discussion. Um, and like I said about VeggieTales, I think that telling the stories the way they have, while you can read some of those episodes, like I'm watching a lot of secular people break down VeggieTales, and you're right. I think the beauty of it was the goal wasn't to make a good Christian series. The goal was to make a good series, like entertaining series, not specifically for Christians. And I think that's where like something like Adventures in Odyssey falls apart, right? I've had this weird video on my desk that I've been trying to write for a while about how Has Been Hotel is accidentally a more Christian product than a lot of Christian cartoons.
Okay, I gotta watch that one.
Yeah, because like I've been saying, I'm like, okay, so what's the point? Everyone's doomed to hell. Hell is leading up towards destruction. Sure, but you want to know what the point is? Is there redemption? And we have a whole story about redemption, right? What is more Christian than a story about redemption from your sins? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's twisted and it's all these different weird angles, but the overarching message is exactly what we as Christians want, right? And arguably, okay, and this is my hot take, arguably, VeggieTales struggled to teach that because they couldn't do that many New Testament stories about the
Yeah,
ultimate concept of redemption. And I'm like, if Vivzy Pop was devout, this would be the perfect way to tell a story about redemption. Now, don't get me wrong, maybe season 2 and season 3 are gonna throw that in my face, and it's gonna be like, yeah, redemption doesn't matter, just keep doing evil. But in hell, in their version of hell, in our version of hell, it pretty sucks. It sucks as well. But in their version of hell, um, there are people who are hell in their in Hell of a Boss and in what's it called, in Hazbin Hotel, is very similar to having the problems that we have here on Earth. You have
Yeah.
people who abuse each other's bodies. You have people who take advantage of the weak. You have people who are just in it for destruction, right? Rather than telling a story about literal biblical heaven and hell, they're telling a story about where do we find love among a world that is falling apart. And I worry when I'm seeing this new VeggieTales where it's like the in-depth perspective. If their goal is to just be conservative, conservatism's value needs to be drawn from a case of like, sorry, I forgive me if I'm going on a rant. I was in Washington when Donald Trump was inaugurated, right? As a Canadian, believe me, it was a weird situation.
I'm sure, yeah.
Some of the kindest people I met were Trump supporters.
Yeah.
Because obviously it got snowed out. I was at a cheesecake factory. It was just all Trump supporters, right? Trump hat everywhere. And I'm like, oh dear, oh dear. But like everybody was so kind. Everybody wanted to know where I was from. They wanted to know about what Canada was like, how we're taking it, and how we might be worried or nervous or scared about things. And they tried to reassure me. Don't get me wrong. It was for naught, but they were trying to be kind. And that's what I'm trying to bring up here. Some of the kindest people I know are conservatives. And you can definitely do a VeggieTales in a way that can appeal to conservatives, but also to just anyone. Kindness is not uniquely conservative. It's not uniquely liberal.
Yeah,
I
I
just don't want
completely agree.
VeggieTales. Yeah, because I just don't want VeggieTales to turn into Tuttle Twins, where rather than just saying these are some good ideas, they're saying these are good ideas. And in order to buy into these good ideas, you need to buy into the entire conservative party. And I'm like, no. Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, and I think there is a big difference, and it should be, you know, it'd be preferable if Kingstone would give us more information as to what they mean when they say conservative. Because if they're saying conservative as in, you know, like another word for Christian, like they believe all Christians are
Mm,
conservative or most conservatives are Christian, you know, some statistic telling them that, which could be, you know, there
mm,
are quite a few conservative Christians out there.
mhm.
Then maybe they're just saying conservative Christian as in, you know, Christian.
Yeah,
But if
like
they
Bible
mean,
believing or something.
yeah, but at that point, why use the word conservative unless you intend to also implement exclusively conservative beliefs? Why do you have to say conservative Christian? Why not just say Christian? Unless there's a specific element that goes along with being conservative, aside from being a Christian, that you intend to implement into the show. And I completely agree. A lot of great conservative people, a lot of great left, you know, leaning liberal people.
Mhm.
But the issue is that VeggieTales isn't made for that. VeggieTales wasn't meant to pick a side and to get
Yeah.
political. VeggieTales was meant to be a show that everyone could enjoy. And, you know, let's go at it with a conservative mindset and say, okay, we want more people to be Christian. We want more people to believe what we believe. Okay, well, a lot of people now are plugging their ears and not listening because you just said you're going to make it conservative. Why not teach your lesson, your Christian message that you want more people to know? Don't you want people, you know, on the left who you see as not knowing God? Don't you want them to know
Mhm.
God? So teach your Christian message without using, I believe, a politically triggering word like conservative
Yeah, and even
or liberal.
globally.
Either way,
Yeah,
you know?
I
And
was,
I'm
I
not
was gonna say
stating an
even
opinion there, I'm just stating a fact. I think
mm,
is dangerous. My bad, go ahead.
all right. No, I was gonna say even globally, right? Like VeggieTales was huge globally. I have friends who come up from Brazil and they're like, VeggieTales was massive in Brazil, right? People from Germany who are like, oh yes, we love the VeggieTales. Friends from Japan who mentioned that they love VeggieTales. The Philippines. Let's just say, with all due respect to you and all my American friends, American conservatism does not necessarily sell well outside of America,
Yeah, no, it definitely
right?
doesn't.
Like the rest of the world right now, we're all looking at you guys going, hey, you guys gonna stop this? Are we just gonna let this all happen? And so it don't get me wrong. I think that this is again, we've had the discussion, they'll make money in the short run. But will they have the impact that they had in the 90s? Probably not. Um, Phil Vischer had his own flaws, don't get me wrong, and they do shine through in VeggieTales. But they were reasonable human flaws type of things. Like I was watching some guy break down that he has a problem reading the story of David and Bathsheba and understanding how grim it was because he can't read it without thinking of King George and the Ducky. Now that's an individual problem, but I understand it. Sometimes we take the Bible and turn it into a bunch of folk tales rather than treat it like, hey, this is a serious situation that he murdered a guy to get the guy's wife, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So I understand that. And again, this is just again Phil Vischer being Phil Vischer. It's one of the better episodes, in my opinion, of VeggieTales. But I understand why some people might be like, maybe we shouldn't have made that one so much fun. Maybe we should have
Yeah.
made the genocide and adultery episode so much fun.
I never thought about it like that, but yeah.
Yeah, I think someone once, and I've been trying to do this as I'm reading the Bible, is like take my head out of the Christian context I was raised in and read the scriptures just like anybody, like someone with no context of it. And it has been a trip. It has been a lot of fun, but it's also been very eye-opening in how people may perceive how we tell these stories,
Mhm.
right? Again, I don't think Kingstone, and please, Kingstone, prove me wrong, okay? Everything we're saying, please. Finn, would you like to be proved wrong? I'm still like, I
You
feel
know,
like an
I really
amazing
would.
film.
I
I
really
would
would.
love
That'd
to
be a
be
great
proved
thing.
wrong.
That would be a great thing.
Kingstone, please prove us wrong. But I think that they are better storytellers. Just like having read their comics, they are not bad storytellers. Like you said, it just feels lazy. And I'm like, you guys can write a good story. You guys have good artists on your team. The politics, I'm gonna put that to the side for now. But everything else, it's not that you don't have this.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd be interested if they released a Kingstone Larry Boy comic as promotion, and they were like, "Hey, this is kind of what we're thinking." I tell you this, man, I would be cool with seeing that because their comics are well detailed and very well drawn. Like, I don't know, the love is gone, and I
Well,
think wherever we go from here, I can't imagine if this happens, if they release something like this. I tell you this, Finn, we may never see a VeggieTales that isn't associated with this again, and that's my
well, I
worry.
think I think they're also going to destroy their brand's reputation and the trust of, the consumer, right? The people who buy
Mm,
VeggieTales and love it. Now you're going to have a lot of skeptical people, even if they backpedal and go, "Okay, hold up, we won't do that again." Now you're going to have a lot of people really analyzing it and going, "You sure? That looked AI. That looked
mm,
AI." You're going to have that now because now they've shown they're willing to do that. Um, and someone was arguing in a server I'm in that they don't have the money. Well, Kingstone doesn't have the money. Oh, then why does Universal, this giant of a entertainment empire that they are, why don't they find a company that has the money to make a movie?
yeah,
That isn't an excuse to give us AI generated slop. Um, and if they have the money to hire a freelance Marvel, ex-Marvel artists or current Marvel
mhm,
artists to make their comics, why can't they hire Phil Vischer and Mike Naraki and just some human people who animate? Like our community is full of people who make
mm,
animation that looks just like the show, sometimes better
yeah,
than the majority of the original run. Look at Rack Shack and Benny Remolded, right? And I highly
mhm,
doubt these people would be demanding an outrageous amount of money to animate characters they animate, all day anyway. I mean, these people in the fandom have been animating VeggieTales like Seaman Flip, right, for like a decade. Like they do it all the
yeah,
time. It's their hobby, their passion.
mhm,
I'm sure they'd love to make the movie. It takes a little bit of effort to reach out to people and to find people and to put together a team. And I think at the end of the day, it really does come down to wanting to make a quick buck and laziness. Because if you're just going to type in a prompt, make me a VeggieTale movie, and then try to get that in theaters, it isn't going to go anywhere.
Hmm. I think I was talking to Nick of Nintendo Dario. But anyway, I'm talking to him about the concept about how this works. And I'm like, you could theoretically fit, like we could buy the licensing rights to VeggieTales, like theoretically, because of the way Universal is set up, anybody could if you had the money, right? It's probably somewhere in the like $100,000 range at this point. It might be a little bit more expensive because they've already sold a portion of the licensing, the portion of the licensing to Kingstone. It might be a little bit more money to be like, hey, we'll pick it up when they're done, type of thing, right? But let's say right after VeggieTales in the House, it was probably at its cheapest. When Trinity Broadcasting bought it, was probably at its cheapest for purchasing VeggieTales. The licensing. You wouldn't own VeggieTales, you would be producing VeggieTales products for Universal under your name. It's complicated. You get the point, right?
Yeah, like Trilogy and like Bardell and Netflix
Yeah.
and whoever. Yeah.
Well, Bardell was a little different. Bardell was commissioned to do it, right? They never owned the rights to VeggieTales. But Netflix had the licensing deal,
Right.
So
Yeah.
Netflix had the licensing deal. They commissioned Bardell, but what's going on with Kingstone is getting the licensing deal, and then rather than hire Bardell, they're putting it into a prompt generator. That's their Bardell. So, so like for example, let's say we want to do Rack Shack and Benny and make it official. We could have theoretically purchased the rights for VeggieTales, had them all sit down. It's like, hey, this is what we're going to do. The only thing we'd be waiting for, and this is what I think Kingstone is waiting for, which is why Universal keeps putting up that there's a movie coming and then taking down that there's a movie coming, is they need the thumbs up from Universal. Because Universal is not just going to put their name on anything, right? It's got to look half decent before Universal put their name on it. Heck, I would be happy if like Mother Flippin' Illumination had gotten the rights to VeggieTales.
Oh, that'd be great.
Because as ridiculous as that would have been, Illumination has promised that they would never hire AI. They'd never use AI, sorry. Hire, good golly. As if AI is a person.
Scary sentence.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, and on top of that, I do see a lot of people pushing back in a way I think is kind of hateful. I do think we should talk about it and make it known, like what we're doing here, I think is good. A lot of people in the comment section going, burn in hell, Kingstone, you know, and like, yeah, that isn't the way to go about it. The AI is not human. We can look at that and go, this is garbage, you know? And then at that point, at worst, we're insulting somebody's taste who thought it was great. But like, whatever, they'll get over it. But there are people behind Kingstone. There are human beings behind Kingstone. And not everybody sees, things the same way. I'm sure they're not going at it trying to steal jobs or, all the dangerous stuff that AI could end up doing. And I think there needs to be a way that we approach it that isn't so aggressive and violent, and they don't listen to that. People don't listen to that. And if they do, they probably don't listen to it in the way you'd like them to. Nobody is going to read a comment, go to hell, don't do this, and go, oh, okay, my bad.
What a balanced opinion that is. Go to
yeah,
hell.
yeah. You're either going to make them completely dismiss you because you come off as crazy, or you're going to make them mad, and they're going, you know what? Yeah, we're going to do it even more now, right? Like there are ways to go about it. I think professionally and tactfully. I'll bring that word back up. Tactfully, I think like what we're doing. So I'd like to say to people watching this, however this video ends up, my channel, your channel, chopped up, full podcast, video, essay, whatever we do with it, I'd like people to be respectful about it and share their opinion without all the expletives and anger directed at the human beings behind Kingstone. Directed at the AI all day. It looks terrible. Mr. Lunt with eyes and, that creepy
Big
chin
lips.
lip combo thing. Yeah, will never not be terrible. And a human didn't make that, right? But there are people behind Kingstone, and I think we should be a little more careful how we approach it, especially if we hope to be heard as a community.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate that on that. And I think that for those who are also listening, because I think we should probably release this as a podcast, and then we can chop it up as we wish. Because
Mhm.
you don't want it to get, you don't want the news to be too old. I was gonna say, keep making stuff to the community because, hey, look, even if you're not going to be the official saying, I know families who have watched Rack Shack and Benny remolded, and that's kind of part of their VeggieTales repertoire, right? I
Yeah,
look
pretty
forward to
cool.
hearing Phil and Mike give opinions on this. Keep making stuff because I think that's what keeps the entire it keeps the franchise alive in a way that we can appreciate it. Yeah, there are weirdos who are going to do weird stuff. There are companies that are going to do weird stuff, but it meant something to you. It meant something to me, right? And it's good to see that we can all share stuff and continue to grow from there. Um, so yeah, I think that's gonna have to be how we wrap this thing up. I'm the SEA storyteller, and Finn, I don't know if you have a signing out as well before I say signing out.
Yeah, don't completely lose hope, I guess. They could make new VeggieTales content, but if they don't, like at the end of the day, we've got like 30 years of content to go back and watch and support and maybe focus on what the people who we care about, the people who made the show that we love. We should focus on what they're making. Got the Holy Post
Yeah.
podcast, Dead Sea Squirrels is out now, right? Doesn't have to be
Yep.
VeggieTales. You can't just slap the VeggieTales name on anything and call it VeggieTales, which was what my comment said actually on the Kingstone
Mm.
upload. You can't just go, yep, here you go, Bob, Larry, in some form. VeggieTales is more than that. And I think the Phil and Mike show, or Dead Sea Squirrels, or what have you, is 100 times more VeggieTales than whatever Kingstone gave us these you know, past few months.
Okay.
Support independent creators and have a good day.
Amen to that. SEA storyteller signing out.